so hard finding a good camera. Why is it so dark? Hold on. Okay, sorry. So I just came from a run, right? And what I did today is actually I ran on just a little bit, and I ran to a park because today there's a track meet at my school. So I was thinking, oh well, I'm going to the football field, gonna hop the fence. It's not illegal, and I'm going to bring my push-up bars. They're not over here, but push-up bars, kind of like mini parallettes, whatever you call them. And I was gonna do some push-ups and pull-ups along with a little bit of running. But once I went over there, it was packed with cars and kids and people on the bleachers. So I was like, I can't do that. So I don't know if this matters, but I'm gonna just tell you anyway. So I went to a park, like a playground, with it's kind of a hockey sort of dome. We call it the dome anyway. Dome next to it. So I went there and I did push-up variations and then a static hold, a dip static hold. So I did decline push-ups, normal push-ups, incline push-ups twice. But I went to failure. So when I got home and I was filling up my cup of water with water, and my hand was shaking. But it wasn't my hand, it was my chest. It was my chest being so sore from doing that workout that like I was from here where the soreness was coming from. So anyways, just to tell you what I did and that I exercised today, because every single day I've been running, every day. But for the past like 2 days, I've been so sore, bro, because I've been running hard. Yesterday I ran hard. I haven't ran that distance and that speed since like October, bro. And that was when I was running, because I was emotional. So I was like, let me put all my emotion into this. I used to listen to disco music while I was running. The disco music maybe reminded me of like old times. Old times as in literally an old era of music. So it kind of made me think of that. And because of how happy the music was, it made me think of like happy stuff. I don't know how to explain it, but like it made me have good runs. Basically, it was good. It was good. It wasn't bad. Like, oh, sad. No, it was good. And now I'm here, and I have. Oh, this has become my favorite book, Marcus Aurelius Meditations. Now, I remember I've told you at first I've been reading Epictetus. This isn't my copy, but Epictetus' Discourses and Selected Writings. So, Epictetus, a slave, got his freedom, started a school after he was exiled. I think he was exiled from, I don't remember. I can read through the thing real quick and tell you, but he was exiled, and then once he was exiled, he started a school where he taught philosophy, and his student Arian wrote down his lectures. So his discourses are his a sort of a long version of his lectures. So you can see literal like individual I keep burping, individual lesson that he taught. And then there's I think the fragments. Yeah, the fragments are like pieces that weren't in the specific books. So there's books in the discourses, and then there's the fragments, which are fragments of books that like they couldn't find. You know what I mean? Like historians couldn't find, or whatever finds of the old stuff. And then there's the manual or the handbook, or it's called the Enchiridion, and that is the kind of abridged version of the discourses, but it's more of like a handbook for life, and it's all the discourses kind of combined into a really really short book. So if you look in here, see where is it? Discourses, fragments. Enchiridion starts here, and it's just little. How do I show you this little itty bitty sliver right here? So you see this little bitty sliver? This is all the Enchiridion, and this is the discourses. You see, so this is the abridged version. It's a lot harder to get information from the Enchiridion in my opinion, because it's so short. There's no discussion. But in the discourses, there's discussion. There's entire conversations about a lot of stuff. Some chapters are short, some chapters are pages long, but it's really good. Explain different things, like even simple things like a guy cheating on his wife and how he thinks of it, and he calls this dude like a worthless human being. Literally calls him a worthless human being, and it's like and this dude, he's kind of raw with it. Epictetus, he makes jokes, he makes like references and puns, and he goes off, man. He's raw with it. Where Marcus Aurelius, he had rhetoricians teaching him. While Epictetus was very good at writing, very good at talking specifically, Marcus Aurelius was an emperor. And so he was taught by, literature, teachers, rhetoricians. He had multiple philosophy teachers. He just was a very good scholar and leader and human being in general. Very great human being. So, but in this book, I'm going to just read you 2 passages of it, and then that's all for the video, because there's this part of this book that I've remembered for so long, and I've always referenced it whenever someone would talk to me about people doing bad things or negative things to them, or things that sort of can annoy you but shouldn't really get to you. And I would always say this thing where I would be like, it's also Socrates also said the exact same thing. I mainly read this from Socrates, but Marcus Aurelius brought it up. Marcus Aurelius quotes Socrates quite a bit. So basically it is like, if someone does something bad or rude or anything that is crude or disrespectful, annoying, anything negative per se, um, they only do it because they do not know what's right from wrong, and we all know that. But as kids, he doesn't know right from wrong. The little kid over there stealing stuff, but it's true. Literally, that person doesn't know what is good and what is bad. That doesn't mean they're any different from us, right? Because and that also means that they lack the knowledge. They lack the knowledge to know what is good. They don't know what is good, basically. They don't know what is virtuous. And with that, you can't really just be like, oh well, they deserve punishment. You'd be like, oh well, I'm not gonna talk to them because they're stupid. They've done this, they've done that. I should avoid them. Yes, but you shouldn't be so quick to dismiss them because they're just like you. They're humans. And like Mark Aurelius says, I'm just going to say a little bitty piece of this because I don't remember exactly, because I could just read it. I literally just read it. So he says that we all, like, the thing is, we're both humans. We both believe in some kind of, life. So he says God, divine. Well, not everyone believes in the divine nowadays, but because back then you kind of had to, or you're going to get, um, killed. But, we all believe in something. We all want to do good, but we don't know what is good. Right? If someone steals something from someone, they're doing it for good. Because there's a reason behind it. If we all knew what was good and what was bad, we wouldn't do the bad things. 100%. And that is an idea of stoicism. And some people don't believe that. There's probably philosophy out there, all kinds of arguments talking about it, but it's like, for this situation, simple things, it's like, you just simply don't know what's right from wrong. So let me read you this passage just now. This is in book 2 of the Meditations on the River Gran among the Quadi. Literally what it says right there, book 2. And I have it, I fold my pages because I don't care, bro. This book is cheap too. It's not like a hardcover. If it was a hardcover, I'd be like, yo, hold up, man. But it's not a hardcover. So this is the first. Has like it's numbered, so it's 1, 2, and the next one's 3. So this is the first thing in the book 2. The first thing. And I have this written down in my journal. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They're like this because they can't tell from evil. They can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. You see that? And so none of them can hurt me. No one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel angry at my relative or hate him. We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the 2 rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is a natural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these are obstructions. Like, hear that? So when you make it in the morning, tell yourself that the people you'll be dealing with today can be all kinds of negative things, basically. And really, you really can wake up and tell yourself that. And this is like him writing to himself. This is literally his journal. Literally his journal. And I bet that he probably reflected on this a couple times, because these are all lessons, right? These are all lessons that he wrote. Notice book 4. Book 2 super short. You see book 4 is right here. Hold up. Book 4 is right here. Book 2 right here. So it's like really short lessons that he wrote for himself. And he probably read these over and over. And I would too. I wake up and I read this. But like, when you're waking up in the morning, tell yourself that people will be this, this, and this. Meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They're like this because they can't tell good from evil. That's it. That doesn't mean they're bad people. That's just because they can't tell good from evil. Now, yeah, they can be bad people, but these are common human things. A lot of people are ungrateful. A lot of people are arrogant. A lot of people are dishonest. A lot of people are jealous. A lot of people will be meddling. Happens in school all the time. Many people are arrogant. You know what I mean? The teacher yells at them. What are they going to do? Yell back at the teacher. Why aren't you doing your work? Because I don't want to. Because I don't have to. Why are you on me like this? Are you racist? Because I'm black? People do that literally. Dude, 2 days ago, it was like last week, Friday or something. It was a kid, right? And the teacher's like, you should get out your computer and do the work, because you have an assignment. And he's like, but I don't want to. It's like, dude. He's yelling too. She's like, you want to get written up? I don't care. It's like, dude. And it's like, well, I have to charge my computer, okay? Leave me alone, okay? I have to charge my computer. And I don't know how to do this. It's like, dude, you know what? Respectful young man from across the room goes, I'll help you. Not as a joke, not as, he just wants to, what's it called? Stop the situation. And he does it. He goes and he helps him. It's like, dude, why can't everyone be like that? Now, yeah, we're all staring at him because he's creating a scene, dude. He's being arrogant. He's being, It's only because he doesn't know good from evil. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm just saying, like, he doesn't know. You know what I mean? If he knew that what he was doing was inherently bad, he wouldn't do it. Now, yeah, you can think, oh, I'm disrespecting the teacher. It's fun. He doesn't know that that's bad. That's what I think. And that's kind of what stoicism is talking about, especially, written here. Next thing, they're like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good in the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood and birth, but of the same mind, and the possessing a share of the divine. So we all have the same mind. What is the difference between us? We think differently, that's it. But really, we're the same. You know what I mean? Like, we're literally all the same species, you feel me? Like, yeah, we all have different races, but we're literally all the same species. Yet we can't get along. You know what I mean? It's good. If you really think about it like that, it's stupid, bro. How we fight and how we get mad at people. That's why recently I've been trying my best to forgive a lot of things. You know what I mean? Because it's like for what? Like, why be mad at people, bro? Like, there's no, like, why? Like, yes, someone can do me bad, but it's because they don't know we're better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm repeating the same thing because that's what he's saying. And it's just like, if you can just forgive them, what do you lose? What do you gain? You lose nothing, you gain everything. Because that's virtue, bro. That's the virtue, if you can forgive someone, that shows who you are, you know what I mean? That's what I think, man. That's why I'll try to forgive a lot of people, man. Yeah, I have this thing where I get angry, though. I get angry a little bit, and I kind of show it a little bit, but after that, I have to just think, like, what would Marcus Aurelius do? What would Epictetus do? What would the Emperor of Rome do? good emperor. I think, well, he wouldn't get mad like this, surely. Surely he wouldn't get mad at any of his friends either. He even says that he thanks the gods that he never got in a position to get mad at his friends, even if he had the capacity to. That's really what he says. I can read it too. Actually, let me find it real quick. This video's gonna be long. I don't care. Hold on, going too far. All right. That I had good grandparents, a good mother and father, a good sister, good teachers, good servants, relatives, friends, almost without exception. And that I never lost control of myself with any of them, although I had it in me to do it, and I might have easily. But thanks to the gods, I was never put in that position, and so escaped the test. You see? Now, keep going. So he says all this about, I have seen the beauty, the good, and ugliness of evil, and recognize same nature related to my own, not the same blood and birth, but the same mind and possession share of the divine, and so none of them can hurt me. You see? We'll have the same mind. They can physically hurt you, yeah. That's another thing about stoicism. We are not in control of our body, right? We cannot, our body isn't ours. It's simply a temporary place that we have until we die. Our body is only flesh and blood and guts and everything, something that, like he says here, a mess of blood, piece of bone, a woven tangle of nerves, veins, and arteries. And he says, consider what the spirit is, and never the same air, but air vomited out and gulped in again in every instant. That is simply what our body does, and that's what we are. That's it. The only thing that we all have is our mind to, use reason and to think. And we have emotions and all that, like, you know what I mean? Like, we just have logic. We have logic. But our bodies, we're not in control of it. So if someone was to physically hurt me or hurt anyone, we can't control that. So like a stoic would let someone do that because it's like they're gonna die anyway, you know what I mean? And it's kind of deeper than that. I can't really explain it, but I've read it a lot, and it's just like a philosopher would, if they were to die, destined to die, which everyone is, and they're gonna die on a certain date, or they're exiled or something, they simply stick their hand out for their wrist to be cut, or they simply stick out their neck for it to be cut off. You know what I mean? They know that it's their fate, so why ignore it? And if they were to get beat to disability, they simply let it happen because they can take their body away, but they can't take away the most important thing that they control, which is their mind. That is what I meant to say. I think I put that out pretty well. You know what I mean? So, so you can cut off my leg, cut off my arm. If I don't die, which I'm destined to anyway, then I will still have the most important thing that I have on my body, which is my mind that I control. I don't control my leg being cut off. You know what I mean? I can't control what you do about it. Yeah, I can persuade you, potentially. But if you're like, oh, I'm gonna cut off your leg, go ahead, do it. That's what a philosopher would do. That's what Epictetus talks about many, many times. Talks about Thracia, the politician. I don't know if it's a guy or girl. Thracia sounds like a girl's name, a cool girl's name, actually. It's probably a guy, though. So I'm going to just say them. They. Say they. Cause I don't know. So, Thracia, they were destined, they were told to be exiled, to be killed, right? So I don't know if it was Nero or not, but they're like, okay, you're gonna die today. He's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go have lunch, and then I'll be back for you to kill me. Thracia went out to go get lunch, came back, and simply went and sat to get killed. You know what I mean? And Thracia's death is one of the most kind of looked at that's of how honorable it was. They didn't fight, they didn't cry, that type of thing. The same thing with Seneca, same thing with Socrates. Their deaths are kind of not worshipped, but they're looked at in philosophy as moments of great, great, great uh virtuousness. What the heck? Virtuousness. You know, throughout those times, all that philosophy that they've been practicing for their entire life has been for this moment, because while they were dying, they don't cry, they don't whine. They know that all that is useless if you're gonna just die in the end. So they simply take their lives. Some of them, they simply die with dignity, basically. The highest, those deaths are the most highest of honorable. You know what I mean? Of being honorable, of honor, whatever you're gonna call it. I can't explain exactly because there's a word for it. I can't think of it though. So I'm saying honor, dignity. There's a word I'm trying to think of, but I can't. So, anyways, I want to get to that level, bro. For real. No one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel angry at any relative, at my relative, or hate him. Now you see here, he makes a allusion to Socrates. I'll tell you why in a bit. No one can implicate me in ugliness, so no one can hurt him in ugliness. If someone's ugly to him, burp, they can't touch him. You know what I mean? Like I said, even if they're chaining his body to the ground and cutting him into pieces, it doesn't matter. All right. Nor can I feel angry at my relative or hate him. Now he's a big reader of philosophy, Socrates specifically, who said that we are all citizens of the world. We are all one big family. And yeah, Bruce Lee also said that. We're all a family under the clouds. We are born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like two rows of teeth, upper and lower, to obstruct each other is unnatural. And he's saying that about people in general. You know what I mean? He said we're all of the same mind, possessing a share of the divine. So he's saying that we're all, what did he say? Relatives. Yeah, he might mean literal relatives, but I don't think he does. I feel like he would think that the whole world, humankind is his family, sort of. That's what I think. Because what Socrates thought, in a way. He's a citizen of the world, not a citizen of Athens, which he was from. And then he says, to feel angry at someone, to turn your back on him, these are obstructions. So, to feel angry at a relative or hate him, you cannot, because they are born to work together. So to obstruct each other is unnatural, because our whole body works together as one. So if one body part obstructs another, that is unnatural. It literally is, because our body parts don't obstruct each other at all. We're basically perfectly made. We're better long distance runners than wolves. It's like, yo, dude, that's cool. It is cool. So he says to feel angry at someone, to turn your back on him, these are obstructions, because that is unnatural because of the order we are in. We're all family. We shouldn't be mad at each other at all. That's what I was saying before, bro. Literally before I was even thinking of this book, bro. I was saying that. I literally just said that, alright? Anyway, let's move on to the second paragraph, and then yeah, that's it. Not the third. Okay. Whatever this is that I am, it is flesh and a little spirit and an intelligence. Throw away your books. Stop letting yourself be distracted. That is not allowed. Instead, as if you were dying right now, despise your flesh, a mess of blood, pieces of bone, and a woven tangle of nerves, veins, and arteries. Consider what the spirit is. Air, and never the same air, but vomited out and gulped in again at every instant. Finally, the intelligence. Think of it this way. You are an old man. Stop allowing your mind to be a slave, to be jerked about by selfish impulses, to kick against fate in the present, and to mistrust the future. Every time I read in front of people or camera, I read so slow and I mess up words. But when I was really reading the Iliad alone in my room out loud, and I was going through it, bro. But this I'm reading, I'm like Why am I messing up so much? It's crazy. Anyways, so I'm gonna read it slowly now. It's the idea I was meaning. Like, he's also in his book talking about like burying your head in books when you really should be experiencing the real world. That's basically what he's saying. I love it, bro. I love it. It's like, bro, like that's what I be doing, man. I don't read a lot, but I read so much more than bro, I have a whole library now, bro. I used to not read at all, bro. I used to get books and I would just keep them here, man. Cause they got boring for me, man. I just thought, man, I could play video games, man. I could do anything. But now, I've really thought like, bro, I can't be playing games as much as I do, man. I need to start becoming stronger. I need to be better. I need to be faster. In my head, I need to just be better at everything, right? And like the Stoics preach, the four virtues, the cardinal virtues, it's justice, temperance. Damn, what are they, bro? Courage, justice, temperance, and what is this one? What is this one? What is this one? What's the fourth one? I always forget the fourth one. It's something like weird. What's the fourth one? I don't know what it is, bro. But I always keep those in mind. And so other things like amor fati, love of fate, memento mori, remember you will die, and premeditatio malorum. I love that one. Premeditate the worst outcome, or think about all the ways that something could happen so that you're prepared for it. Like if a girl's gonna if you're gonna approach a girl, the worst that can happen, premeditatio malorum. This is it right now, as if it's happening. The worst that can happen is that she could say no. Can I have your number? No. Of course, she could think deeper and be like, oh well, can I have your number? No, get off of me, jerk. Get out of my face, bozo. Something stupid like that. She can say that. She could say that, and that's not even the worst thing that could happen. The worst thing that could happen, she can spit in your face, dude. That's not gonna happen. Okay, you want to be more realistic? She'll say, no, I have a boyfriend. Okay, be like, okay, take it as a compliment. See you later. And then you're good, bro. Premeditatio malorum. Because you prepare for it in your head before you talk to her. 3-second rule. You take 3 seconds to approach her. But while you're think about, you have to associate premeditatio malorum with approaching girls with, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, so you can say no. Okay, boom, going right through it, approach her. You have to think about premeditatio malorum. You have to think about what's the worst that can happen. You're prepared. So if it happens, you're not, dang it. That's a loser. Like, no, you imagine that would happen. You premeditated it. Premeditatio malorum. Yup. Anyways. And then, the four cardinals, I said courage, wisdom, temperance, and whatever. Courage. Have the courage to literally do everything. You know what I mean? Don't be scared, because courage is what brings you out of hard times. You know what I mean? So if you don't have courage, you're gonna stay here. You have to have courage to do everything, man. Get a job. You have to have courage to find your partner in life. You need courage. You need to have courage to do the things that are hard to do. You need to have the courage to go to the gym. You know what I mean? And wisdom. Let's go to justice. Oh, justice, wisdom, temperance, and courage. There you go. So stupid. So let's start with justice. Justice is simply knowing what's good and what's bad, discerning what is just and unjust. And then wisdom is sort of using the other virtues to know if what you are doing is virtuous. We're kind of putting them into action correctly. And then there's obviously temperance, which is moderation, kind of, and being in moderation with all your actions. So if you like to, I don't know, drink, you would know that if you did too much of it, that would obviously be bad for you. If you did too little of it, you wouldn't be happy. It's all about that, you know what I mean? You have to have a balance of literally everything. You do too much of something, that's bad. Do too little something, it wouldn't make you feel good. So temperance is very important. All these virtues are very important. Along with other things like what is it? Uh, resourcefulness and like other little things like providence. You know what I mean? Other little things that you have to kind of just learn on the way. You know what I mean? But you know they're all in this book. I literally got those from the book. Resourcefulness and providence are literally talked about as virtues in this book, but not as the four cardinal virtues. Those four specifically are like key values in Stoicism. So that's that. Now let's keep reading. I keep going off topic, but I love it because I love to talk about just little things. All right. Whatever this is that I am, it is flesh and a little spirit and intelligence. Like I said, that's all you are, bro. You're literally whatever this is that I am. You know, we don't exactly know, but we know that we're flesh with a little spirit. Obviously, we have like a life force, right? We have something running in us that we don't know of, that we can't name. You know, we can call it life force. We can call it God. You can call it whatever, logos, which is what the Stoics call a lot of things. I don't think it's called logos specifically, but logos has a part of it. Logos is basically God's the direction that God can put things into, kind of like the influence, but not exactly. It's kind of complicated because it literally doesn't have an exact definition at all, So yeah. So remember, that's all we are, and a little and intelligence. Like I said, we have logic, we have reason. We can take impressions into our head and transform them into whatever we want because we're smart. Throw away your books, stop letting yourself be distracted. That is not allowed. Instead, as if you were dying right now, despise your flesh. A mess of blood, piece of bones, a woven tangle of nerves, veins, and arteries. So he's like, throw away your books, stop letting yourself be distracted. Distracted from what exactly? Life. That is not allowed. Instead, as if you were dying right now, despise your flesh. So, like I said, I thought I was going to despise your flesh. So, hate your body because it is simply your flesh. Throw away your books, don't let yourself be distracted. As if you were dying right now. Consider what the spirit is, air and never the same air, but vomited out and gulped in and in again every instant. Finally, the intelligence. So it's going like in order from the flesh, spirit, intelligence. Finally, the intelligence. Think of it this way. You're an old man. Stop allowing your mind to be a slave and to be jerked about by selfish impulses, to kick against fate in the present, and to mistrust the future. So we read books to escape reality, right? Or to kind of learn more about ourselves, to learn more about how the world works so we can be congruent with it. But what he's saying is, think of it this way, you're an old man. You are as if you are dying right now. Despise your flesh. Stop allowing your mind to be a slave and to be jerked about by selfish impulses, to kick against the fate in the present, to mistrust the future. So have no impulses. Selfish impulses specifically, right? You're reading because you want to be better only for yourself. But if you wanted to benefit others and sort of, if you lived like you were on your deathbed right now, you would be the most alive you've ever been. You know what I mean? That's why Memento Mori is extremely popular, because it's so good, bro. Remember that you will die. Like if you had that, a lot of people do have that tatted. If I had that tatted right here, bro, Memento Mori, shoo. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I want the cardinal virtues on my fingers, bro. Have like courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom just right here, so I can just look at them. I have like a skull right here. Put a skull right here. I have like a knife going on in it. Memento Mori. Literally, philosophers will literally have a live skull, like a skull literally picked up from a dead body, on their desk. That's how important a Memento Mori was. Seriously, philosophers do that. So I thought about buying a 3D printer just so I can have like my 3D printed skull just right there. And also, people like Marcus Aurelius looked up to uh having what's it called, influential figures that you and idols that you like look up to near around you, like symbols and stuff like that. So literally, if you have a picture of your favorite person right here, you would wake up and be like, oh, I should want to be more like him or her. That's like people when they're in the gym, they have like big posters of Arnold or big posters of their favorite bodybuilders or anime characters, anything. Because it's good. It's good for you. Because you know that, yo, I want to be like them, I want to train like them, I have the motivation. You know what I mean? And there's even, a bodybuilder I watched. His name is Daniel Figueroa. He was such a good YouTuber. He kind of like went down and stopped making videos as much, but he still makes them. And he basically said that you need to emulate your favorite bodybuilder. This is specifically bodybuilding, but it's in anything in life. You know what I mean? If you were like, also dating coaches. Don't ask me I know this. Don't ask me I know this. You know what I mean? Don't ask me I know this. But dating coaches, they would say, pick someone. It could be James Bond. It could be Bruce Wayne. It could be Patrick Bateman. It could be Tony Stark. It could be Casanova. It could be uh, Barack Obama. Literally anyone that you look up to and you seriously but specifically is a masculine figure though. So James Bond is a number one. People are like, oh, James Bond, James Bond. Okay, emulate his walk, emulate how he talks, but don't exactly have to say what he says, but just emulate his tone. If his voice is really deep, you need to talk exactly like he talks like this. But if he kind of is like smooth and he kind of flows with his words, you need to match it. You know what I mean? And if he, walks with confidence, you need to walk exactly like that. And then you will slowly become who he is in a way. The same thing with bodybuilding. If you were to emulate the exact way that Arnold trained, the exact way he did his concentration curls, the exact way that he gritted his teeth when he would do incline curls, the exact way that, Louis Ferrigno would go, yeah, yeah, I can't do anymore. I can't do anymore. No. And his boss is like, no, you gotta keep going. Yeah, yeah. Literally, if you watch, that's what he does in Pumping Iron. He's like that. He's like, you know what I mean? It's stupid, but like, if you were to emulate what he did, you would not only have more motivation because you're like training just like them, you would always think of them, but you would have their same habits. You would technically be them in a way. You know what I mean? But obviously, you don't have the genetics, you don't have the body, you don't have the exact everything. You know what I mean? But if you were to emulate, you would be them. You would be, if you're not at their level, you'd be better. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So we talked about meditations. We talked about the origins of Epictetus. We talked about the four cardinal virtues. We talked about the first two chapters of book 2 of Meditations. We talked about stoicism in general and its values. We talked about having an idol near you or a symbol for it so that you can remember it, and also about the sort of core Stoic values: amor fati, love of fate, memento mori, remember that you will die, premeditatio malorum, premeditate on the uh, negative, anything, consequences that could happen from something, all of them. And yeah, yeah, yeah. There's also veri vidi vici, which is something about conquering. I forgot exactly what it is, but it's very popular among bodybuilders too, because Ziz used to always have it like on his like around. Ziz, man, Ziz, bro, this is something else, but that's it. It's 30-minute long, 39-minute long video, and I'm maybe gonna edit like 1 minute out of it because I have like little scenes where I'm stopping and like that's it though. It's gonna be like 36 minutes or something. So remember all I said. I suggest that you read both of these, bro. Both of these, Epictetus and Meditations, bro. Because Epictetus is just a lecturer. He lectures. Arian writes down what he writes. This is in what? This is what? In like 100 AD. And then Marcus Aurelius was born in like 121 AD or something like that, specifically. I remember reading like 2 days ago. It's like, dude, that was my cat. That was a long time ago, bro. And so, but then there's also newer books like uh, The Obstacle's the Way, or where is it? Dang, it's in there. Or The Courage is Calling. Ryan Holiday, recent Stoics that live in this day, philosophers. So it's like, you know, I would suggest you read the old doctrines first, which is Meditations, Discourses and Selected Writings, and then read Seneca's letters to a Stoic. But I mean, so Seneca's more like you really have to sit down and really think about what he's saying. With Epictetus, you can kind of be distracted, but you always shouldn't be. But it's like the level of reading comprehension that you would need. You can just kind of get it. If you read it once, twice, 3 times, you'll just get it. Meditations is very straightforward, but the ideas are more open. The same thing Epictetus. Those two things, they're easier than Letters to a Stoic. I guarantee you that, because I've read a lot of Seneca, and I'm like, I get it, but I'm gonna need someone to explain this to me. You feel me? Like, Daily Stoic today, and also, oh, you can get this first, bro. The Daily Stoic, 366 days of 366 meditations on wisdom, perseverance, and the art of living, featuring new translations of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, written by my boy Ryan Holiday and his co-author Stephen Hanselman. So good, bro. Ooh, why did it turn black and white? Oh, it's because I have a bedtime mode. I was like so scared, bro. So check out any of that. It's great. It's great. That's it. This video's going too long. Do the hard things, just like Hamza says. I don't know what else to say. Peace.